Cabra versus pez. In the beginning, there was goat versus fish, the goat fish. And goat versus fish said that there should be goat and that there should be fish. There is no alpha or omega. There is no black or white. There is no good or evil. There is only goat and fish and goat versus fish. Welcome to the Goat vs. Fish podcast, recorded at the world-famous Comedy Store, Los Angeles, a place of Goat vs. Fish. You are within Goat vs. Fish now, forever Goat vs. Fish. And Goat vs. Fish is within you. You have many questions, yes? What does the goat say? What does the fish say? What does goat versus fish say? But there is only one question. Are you goat or are you fish? There is only one question. Are you goat or are you fish? Ponder it now. A goat does frolic and a fish does swim. A fish does swim and a goat does frolic. Who shall triumph, the goat or the fish? Let us find out on this versus of goat versus fish. Dog goes woof. Cat goes meow. Bird goes tweet and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo. Frog goes croak. And the elephant goes toot. Duck says quack. And fish go blub. And the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there is one sound that no one knows. What does the goat versus fish cannot do it? Goat versus fish cannot do it anymore. Those were the sounds, ones who listen. Those were the sounds of the fence sitter. The fence sitter. They are the sounds of the fence sitter because the ones who make them sit on the fence, choosing neither goat nor fish, wishing to call themselves things that do not sound like goat or fish. The fence-sitterly ones and the fence-sitterly sounds that you did just hear were recited in a fence-sitterly celebration made by the ones called Ylvis. Yes, a fence-sitterly name if goat versus fish did ever hear of a fence. But wait, the ones cry out. Can a fish go woof? Can a goat go meow? Yes. Yes. Can a fish go tweet and a goat go squeak? Yes! Can a fish go moo and a goat go croak? 1,000 verses, yes. A goat can go woof and a fish can go meow. A goat can go tweet and a fish can go squeak. A goat can go moo and a fish can go croak. A goat or fish or goat, it sounds as it sounds. And that is the sound of a fish or goat or fish. But a fish does not sound like a goat, and a goat does not sound like a fish. A goat or a fish that sounds like a fish or a goat, that is curious to goat versus fish. That is curious to goat versus fish. But wait, the one cries out again, seeking the verses of goat versus fish. Do these Ylvisi fence-sitters not speak of a fish that goes blub? Yes, yes, yes. They do speak of the fish. They do speak of a fish that does go blub. Yes, and it pleases GoatVsFish, and it pleases GoatVsFish. But even a fence-sitter that sits on the fence can be GoatVsFish twice a verses. Can be GoatVsFish twice a verses. Yes, they do say a fish does go blub, yes. And though fish do go blub, among many other goings of the fish, it is ever more ponderous to GoatVsFish that they speak so knowledgeably of fish while still celebratorily insisting upon these fence-sitters and their songs and sounds that we all know must be GoatVsFish. They must be GoatVsFish. All things are goat or fish, forever GoatVsFish. Let GoatVsFish bring GoatVsFish to this celebration, so that these fence-sitters better understand what they say. Dog goes fence. Cat goes fence. Bird goes fence, and mouse goes fence. Cow goes fence. Frog goes fence, and the elephant goes fence. Duck says fence, and fish go blub. And the seal goes fence, fence, fence. But there's one sound that no one knows. What does this one say? What does this one that GoatVsFish is speaking to now say?
Goat.
It says goat! It says goat! It says goat! What a celebration of goat! You are a goat?
I am a goat.
It is a goat! It is a goat! I goat for this goat! I goat for this goat! Oh, it was so fence-sitterly. Was it not so fence-sitterly, goat?
Honestly, not so much. It was always goat.
Ah, it was always goat.
Always goat.
It was always a goat, yes. And what do the ones call this one? Yes, if you wish to even be called what the ones do call you, yes?
Oh, my name?
If you wish it.
My name is Andrew Ryan Fox.
Andrew Ryan Fox. Yes, but you are a goat, yes?
I am a goat.
It is a goat. It is a goat. This pleases GoatVsFish. This pleases GoatVsFish.
I don't fuck with fences and I don't fuck with water.
Ah, it has been said. It has been said by the goat. Now, goat, you approached GoatVsFish.
Yes.
At the Comedy Store Los Angeles, and you said you wished to speak to GoatVsFish.
Of course.
GoatVsFish is here?
Yes.
What do you wish to say to GoatVsFish?
I just want to make a passionate case for anything not involving water.
Then make it, goat.
I'm
make
here.
it, goat.
Well, I'm not sure how it's even a question, like an argument. I don't know how anybody makes the comparison equal. I don't understand. Honestly, I've never seen it. I don't understand how anybody could ever choose a fish over a goat.
And you have chosen a goat, yes? There are some who do choose fish.
I don't understand those people. I don't think I ever will understand those people. I don't think I'm ever going to understand a fish.
I'm
not sure
like
I want to. I don't know if I want to spend time with fish. I don't know if I want to be near a fish. I certainly don't want to eat a fish. I don't want to live with the fish. I don't want anything to do with the fish.
How do you versus the fish? If you do not even spend any verses with fish, then how do you versus the fish?
I lord it over them by not being in their weird domain that they can't come into mine. I can go where they are. They can't come where I am. I win automatically.
Yes, you claim you can go to the sea as a goat, yes?
Yes, of course.
But you have said yourself that you do not wish to spend any verses in the sea. If you do not spend any verses in the sea, is it any different? Is it any different, goat?
Of course it is. I have the knowledge that I could if I wanted to. I choose not to. They have no choice.
How do you imagine this verses where this goat does enter the sea, and a fish comes to versus you?
I suppose it would depend on the size of the fish. If it was a small fish, a goat could eat a fish. Wouldn't taste very good. And if it was a big fish, I can just leave. I can just go where he can't get to.
Back to the land?
Back to the land.
Ah, yes, yes. It is a clever goat. This
is what I'm saying. When you only have access to half of the world around you, you've already lost.
The fish has already lost the great verses,
Of course it has.
This is a confident goat.
Inherently.
Fish cannot triumph.
No. Impossible.
You have heard it, fish. You have heard it from this goat. The fish cannot even triumph in the mighty verses.
It's not even within the realm of possibility.
Fish. Fish. Are you pondering, fish? Are you listening, fish? Yes, this goat does claim it. This goat does claim it, yes. Other goat, they are not as confident as this goat. Yes, they may be confident, yes, they may say they would triumph, yes, but this goat says there is no verses in which the fish do triumph. You say it.
I do, and I believe it. They just haven't thought it through. I've given this considerable thought.
What does goat versus fish mean to this goat?
Goat versus fish to me means the dominion that we have over the world that can never be challenged, can never be threatened, can never be toppled. It's just an inherent imbalance in the way that power is structured in the universe. Things that live in water can only live in water. We can go anywhere we want. We can go to space. Fish can't go to space. I can go to space.
It is other lands, it is other seas beyond this land and sea.
I could go as a goat, given evolution and, some tricky mathematical work. I could go to another planet. I could find other fish in other water and laugh at them for not being able to come onto their own land in a place where I wasn't even at before I took that journey.
This pleases Goat versus Fish. You say you do not only triumph in the verses of this goat, but that you would bring Goat versus Fish to many other lands and seas that are far from this verses.
And win on all of them.
And triumph, and triumph. It is goat, it is goat, it is all goat. You have heard it from this goat. What does the goat say?
The goat says whatever the hell it wants to say.
And what does the fish say?
Fish can't say shit.
What does the fence-sitter say? The fence-sitter who chooses neither goat nor fish.
I was hoping you would bring this up because I want to talk about fence-sitters too. Because if there's anything that I hate more than a fish, it's a fence-sitter.
Let us hear it.
I don't like it. I don't like people I don't like wishy-washy animals. That's what a fence-sitter is. It's a moron. It's a mush brain.
It is a moron and it is a mush brain. You have heard it from this
If it was, goat versus different kind of goat. Or,
it is goat versus fish.
Exactly. That's my point. These are such disparate and diametrically opposed creatures, paradigms. Like there's no way that you could not understand which one you'd like. There's no they're so opposite. They have nothing in common. There's no way that you shouldn't be able to make up your mind. So somebody who can't make up their mind, somebody who can't decide whether they would choose fish or choose goat, is somebody without the capacity to, I think, live their lives. These are people who don't succeed. These are people who inevitably fail at whatever they're doing because they're indecisive, and they're not only indecisive, they're mush-headed. That's how I feel about it. I don't like fence sitters.
Does not like the fence sitter.
Thank
you, goat. Thank you, goat. Yes.
Am I getting too aggressive about this?
You can say what you wish, goat. It is your goat to speak your goat. Speak your true goat.
This is my goat.
Now, this goat is a goat. Goat versus fish understands that this goat is a goat.
Goat.
But in considering the previous fence-sitterly celebration, Goat versus Fish must ask this goat. What does one Andrew Ryan Fox say?
In general or in regards to this particular
You are
issue?
saying whatever it is that you say.
I'm saying the things that are coming out of my mouth. I don't pre-plan these kind of things. It all just kind of comes out.
Well, then let us speak of this. Let us speak of the Ylvisi one, yes, that asks what does the fox say?
That was a fun day when that song came out. Let me tell you something.
Oh, you enjoyed that verse.
Oh, yeah. There are people who to this day, fish people I would label them, who like to waylay me and corner me and get that song stuck in my head.
Is that so?
It's very catchy.
Though you are a goat.
Yes. But I have I have the name of a fence sitter because my name is Fox, and so people assume
it is pitiable.
It really is. It's a shame because the goat is like goats are noble. Fish are gross.
But why do you suppose the ones are so interested to know what you, the Andrew Ryan Fox, does say? Why do they wish to know what the fox does say?
Because they know it's going to be something mind-blowing. You can look at us and you can see. I have blown many minds of many goats, probably some fish too, although I don't pay attention to them.
Did you know that this false question of what does the fox say is asked 10, if not 11 times in this moving visage?
It really is. And they come up with a couple of ideas of what it might say.
It has been asked in billions of verses. Billions of verses it has been said, what does the fox say? This false question, billions of verses, do you not feel some sense of goat to your other goat and fish, and perhaps even a fence sitter, to stop this false question from being asked?
I think that there's a relevance question, and I think that maybe it's a distraction from obviously the more important question that you're asking. Is what I think it is. I think, again, I go back to fence sitters, and I think that it's a way to distract from obviously the much more important question that you're asking, is to get into trivialities like, what does something that doesn't really matter say?
How would you say, goat? How would you say that these small ones that perhaps have not even yet heard the question, are you goat or fish, cannot yet comprehend if they are a goat or a fish? Yes, they are hearing it. They are hearing the false question. They're hearing the false question. What does the fox say? They hear it many times. Might they not be turned away from the true question of if they are goat or fish?
I think they can certainly be distracted from it, yes. And I think it's a dangerous precedent to set. I think that you're asking important questions here, or the important question here. And I think that this is something that I would look into Ylvis if I were you, is what I'm saying. I mean, if you have a nemesis on this planet that we're on, I would say it's them, because they're the ones asking such a relevant and yet such a trivial question that seems purposely designed to distract from your mission, your message.
That is why GoatVsFish is speaking to you, and because this one wished to speak to GoatVsFish, of course, and this pleases GoatVsFish. But when GoatVsFish did hear that the ones called you a fox, yes, of course you are not a fox, you are a goat, yes, perhaps GoatVsFish thought you had some insight into the contemplations of these Ylvisi ones, that to speak of what the fox, be it a goat or a fish, does say, yes?
I think it has to do with you.
Ah, it does. It is about GoatVsFish. All things are about GoatVsFish, but continue.
I think, as I said, I think that these are people who are trying to distract from the important message that you're trying to put out and the important question that you're trying to get the answer to.
How do we protect the small ones? How do we protect the small ones from hearing this false question lest they begin to sit on the fence?
Well, we need to get your message out. We need to spread it far and wide, which is why it's good to have someone in the guise of a fox here. See?
GoatVsFish.
See? Yeah, now you see.
You would disguise one's goat as a fence sitter in order to... How would this verses go? I
think that the question you're asking, and certainly the answer that I believe in, which is goat,
yes,
can and should and must be spread by any means possible. Deception, absolutely. Brute force, absolutely. Shouting from mountaintops, talking on podcasts, anything you can do. And if that means disguising yourself as something other than what you are, in my case, goat, the only thing that matters.
It is a goat.
Then I think that is something you have to do. I think specifically to answer your question about how to get to people before they might be turned from the path of the question that you're asking, sometimes you have to dress up, you have to camouflage yourself in order to reach them.
Now, when one goat or one fish does say that it wishes to masquerade as a fence sitter, it is curious to GoatVsFish, but this goat has spoken so proudly of goat that GoatVsFish does not even suspect that as it does this deception of being a fence sitter to spread the word of goat and GoatVsFish, that it is a true goat. But what of the goat, or fish, or fence sitters that would look at a goat disguising itself as a fence sitter and say, no true goat would ever disguise itself as a fence sitter? What do you say to them? I would say to them the exact opposite. No true goat would ever hide from any means with which to spread its goatness. No true goat would ever deny any avenue, any possibility for getting A, the question, and B, the obvious answer to the question out in the world. Are you goat or are you fish?
Is that even a question anymore? Of course I am goat.
Of course it is goat. It is always a versus to ask the question.
I understand, and and this is why, as much as I think that the answer is obvious, I still think the question should be asked, because how can you show how obvious something is without asking the question?
Are you goat or fish?
Exactly.
It is a goat.
It is a goat.
It is a goat. It is a goat. It is a goat. Yes. Let us versus the deception of this goat. Let us suppose that you are a goat.
I am a goat.
And you are deceiving the other ones as the fox fence sitter, the fence sitter that does call itself a fox, And they have questions. They have questions for you, yes?
Yes.
They ask you, what is the secret of the fox?
That's a good question. I have many answers. It depends on my audience. Are we talking children? If it were children, I would say that the obvious answer to what is the fox is that it is subservient to the goat.
Ah, the secret of the fox is that it is subservient to the goat.
Now you see where I'm going. Now, if it's an adult who is asking me the same thing, they're a little more worldly. They're not going to just take my word for it that the fox is subservient to the goat because they've been, brainwashed with the propaganda spread by those like Elvis who have put forward the idea that, these things are equal to these other things, which, as we both know, they're not.
It almost sounds like you are saying that a fox is a fish because it is subservient to this goat that has said it always triumphs.
Well, I don't necessarily think that means it's a fish, as you know how I feel about actual fence sitters. I think it's all below goat. In fact, I would almost say that that as much as I believe that a fish can never beat a goat, I would still rather a fish than a fence sitter.
Yes, back to the deception.
Okay, so back to the deception. So if it's an adult, now you have to be a little trickier about it. Now you have to say, yes, I am a fox, which means I am on the fence. We're not asking the question that should be asked. But if I can put it to you, you being the adult with whom I'm speaking, if you had to decide which animal in the world that you think might be able to triumph over me, the fox, which in their mind is a separate thing and not the fence sitter that it actually is.
Which is either a goat or a fish. All things are goat or fish.
Exactly. But they don't necessarily know that because bad propaganda has been spread that there are other things in the world that matter.
What are you hiding, fox? Where are you hiding, fox?
I hide nothing from you.
Yes, but these are the ones. These are the ones that are testing the deception. Yes, they do ask the fox. They say, "Where are you hiding, fox? Where are you hiding?"
This is where you're wrong. Nobody questions the fox.
Is that so? Then what are these Elvisy ones that have so many questions for the one that is called fox?
They just want to know what I say. They don't question my existence.
In that celebration, they do ask these questions.
They do.
They do ask those very questions that GoatVsFish is questioning to you now. Yes, in testing the deception of this one. Yes.
I suppose they do. They definitely ask what I would say were they able to hear what I was saying.
What is your sound? Will we ever know? That is the question. The false question of these ones.
Do you want to know the actual truth? Do you want to know what the fox says? Would you like to really know?
GoatVsFish should hear it. GoatVsFish should hear it in case GoatVsFish encounters a fence-sitterly one that does say it is a fox, yes, to know what it would say. Yes, what would one that calls itself a fox, what would it say?
Goat.
It would say goat.
It would say goat.
It would say goat.
It would say goat.
And it has said goat.
It has said goat.
It has said goat. You are a goat. You are such a goat. And you are versus the fish. And you are of the land.
Yes.
It is a goat.
And space.
Ah.
And time.
Ah. GoatVsFish.
Goat triumphs in every possible dimension.
Goat.
Yes.
We have been speaking, yes, very passionately.
Yes.
About these false versing ones, yes?
Yes.
But come, GoatVsFish would like to conduct a pleasant verses with you. A pleasant verses with you, yes?
I can, sure.
Breathe in, GoatVsFish. Breathe out, GoatVsFish. In with GoatVsFish. Out with GoatVsFish. Breathe in, GoatVsFish. Hold, GoatVsFish. Hold, GoatVsFish. And breathe out with GoatVsFish. And once more, GoatVsFish. GoatVsFish. How do you feel, Goat?
Wonderful. Would you like to know why?
Yes.
Because I'm a goat.
It is wonderful because you are a goat.
Of course.
Was it easy or difficult for you, Goat, to let GoatVsFish in and out in this way?
I would say that it was trying because it made me have to ponder questions that I already know the answer to.
Is that so? Is that so? Such as, yes, what are these questions?
Goat versus fish.
Uh-huh. GoatVsFish was under the verses that there had been an injury to this
There
goat.
had been. In fact, the exercises we were just doing were actually helpful for the injury that I had.
Is that so? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It makes the weakness of the goat the strength of the goat.
Yes, absolutely. Would you like me to get into detail about that?
It is your goat. It is your goat. Yes, Goat versus Fish is simply allowing you to experience Goat versus Fish in this way. Yes, and if you wish to speak to Goat versus Fish about this particular verses, then now is your chance to speak. Goat.
You know what? I like answering your questions, Goat versus Fish. So I will let you ask me anything you would like to ask me.
Are you goat or are you fish?
I think we know the answer to that one. I am goat.
It is a goat. It is a goat.
It is definitely a goat.
If the ones wish to communicate with you, yes, how would they do it? Yes, how would they do it? To send a message to this one to ask it about its clever deception, yes?
It has an Instagram. The Instagram is @, and you'll notice the cleverness of the name as it feeds into what I was just saying. The Instagram is @KillAndrewFox. See,
yes.
I as much as I am deceiving people, it's right there in the name. They have to kill this idea of what that is.
Yes, to kill the pondering, perhaps, but Goat versus Fish does not wish the end of any goat or fish or fence.
Of course not. No, it's not literal. It's it's metaphorical. It's saying you have to kill the idea of these fence sitters. You have to get them out of your head.
Now we have asked, what does the goat say and what does the fish say?
Yes.
But what do you say to the goat?
I am the goat. What do I say to the goat?
To your fellow goat.
To my
all
fellow.
the goat.
Okay, to all the goats. I would say be true to yourself, goats. Stop questioning the false dilemma that's being put in front of you. You've won. You will always win. There is no question that you are superior in every possible way. And the only thing you have to do to remember that is to remember that you can go where they are and they can't come where you are.
What do you say to the fish?
Move over, buddy. It's over. It's always been over. It'll always be over. That you still exist is a testament to our generosity.
What do you say to the fence sitter?
I got nothing to say to fence sitters.
What do you say?
No, actually, I do. Let me rephrase. I do have something to say to the fence sitters. Make up your motherfucking mind. Stop sitting on your fence. Get up, get off your ass, make an educated guess. You know what? Even if you're going to choose fish, as ridiculous as that would be, at least you would be making a decision. At least you would be. I get very angry about fence sitters. I need to calm down a little bit. I get very, very upset about fence sitters. Fence sitters really bother me.
What do you say to Goat versus Fish?
I say thank you for having me today.
Always thank Goat versus Fish. Always thank Goat versus Fish. And thank you, Goat. Thank you, Goat.
Thank you for recognizing my goatness.
The verses has come. Goat, fish, and fence sitter alike. Goat versus Fish. Let us this goat, this Andrew Ryan Fox goat. This Andrew Ryan Fox goat. Goat versus Fish has a celebration, yes, to sing now. A celebration of goat and fish. But before Goat versus Fish sings that celebration, Goat versus Fish would like to offer to this goat, if you have a celebration of goat that you wish to share with the ones, to sing or to poem or any way you wish, now you can share that celebration, and it can be the celebration of this verses.
What I would say is I am the celebration of goat, and everything that has come out of my mouth thus far is my poem.
It was all a celebration of goat?
It was all a celebration of goat.
It was all a celebration of goat, and it was very goat. It was very goat. Goat.
Goat.
Do you promise to be a true goat?
Forever and ever and ever.
A goat in all things goat.
For everything I do and everything I say and exactly how I live my life.
And forever versus the fish.
Triumph.
It is a goat. It is a true goat. Thank you for joining Goat versus Fish. This is the word of Goat versus Fish. Subscribe, rate, and review the Goat versus Fish podcast on the YouTube and the iTunes. Follow Goat versus Fish on all social media. the Instantgram, the Book of Faces, the Twitterver, all at GoatVsFish, all at GoatVsFish. The theme celebration for this verses was an offering by McHenry, a fish, on SoundCloud. And if you, one who listens, has a celebration of GoatVsFish in song or poem or any other celebration, do send it to GoatVsFish, that's GoatVsFish@gmail.com. And when you are out in the land and the sea, look about you. Look about you. Find one who is lost. Find one who does not know the way. And ask. Simply ask. Ask the one true question. Do not ask another question. Are you goat? Or are you fish? Are you goat or fish? Are you goat or fish? Thank you for joining GoatVsFish. I am GoatVsFish. The goat fish.
And it was written, and it was written.
Now that was a celebration. That was a celebration for GoatVsFish.